Okay, welcome back, everybody. We're on part 5 of med legal and ethical issues. We're going to start talking about what standards of care actually are. And we're going to get into the nitty gritty stuff about EMS, specifically like duty to act and some other stuff, okay? So, standards of care is basically it outlines the care that you are able to provide. This is set by your medical director, okay? So, there's a difference between a medical director and a medical control emergency physician, or what we call MSEP. Okay, your medical director is basically who is in charge of your service. Okay, every service has their own medical director. All right, Albuquerque Ambulance has their own medical director. AFR has their own medical director. Bernalillo County Fire has their own medical director. Lifeguard flights, right? PHI flight services. They all have their own medical directors. Okay. The medical director is basically who you work under. Okay. Yes, you guys are licensed to practice medicine in the state of New Mexico at the EMT basic level once you guys complete this class. Okay. But it's really, you are working underneath your medical director's license in order to provide care for a patient. You can't become your own practitioner. Okay. Your medical director basically tells you what you can and can't do, right? Those are also known as protocols, or some companies call them standing orders, okay? The MSEP, on the other hand, the medical control emergency physician, is the person or the doctor that you're going to call at the hospital, whichever ER you guys are going to, in order to ask questions about the patient, okay? If you guys can discontinue your resuscitation efforts, if you guys have to, get a refusal, if you guys are looking to forcibly restrain somebody because you think they're a danger to themselves or others, if you guys have a question about anything, really, you're going to contact the MSEP, okay? Your medical director is who you work under. They write your protocols and standing orders. They tell you what you can and can't do. The MSEP is the doctor that you call while you're out in the field and you have some kind of weird circumstance or you have a question on something. That's who you're going to call in order to get that question answered. Please make sure you guys know the difference between those two. Okay, you're going to see that for the rest of the semester on your exams, the difference between a medical director and an MSEP. Okay, when you start carrying out procedures outside of your scope of practice, you may be considered to be negligent, okay? And it could be seen as a criminal offense, okay? So this is like you guys as a basic, maybe starting an IV on a patient, okay? You guys are not trained to do that skill, okay? You guys are not, it's not in your protocols or your standard operating procedures or your standard operating guidelines, whatever your service decides to call them, to start IVs on people. Okay? So if you as a basic start an IV on a patient, okay, and something goes bad, or not even that, if you guys just start an IV on your patient, you guys have broken your protocols. Okay? And you guys can be seen as negligent. Okay, you guys can get sued. Your company can get sued. Okay, you guys can lose your license. All right, so make sure that you guys know what your protocols are. Okay, when you guys get hired on into that service, okay, specifically in the state of New Mexico, we have 2 protocol updates every year. We have one in April, one in October. Okay. When that protocol update comes out, you are expected to know what is going on in those protocols. Like that day. Okay. I will say that the services are very good at outlining the changes for you, so that you guys are well aware of this. Most of the time, some of the services do have some kind of like quiz or something that they might make you do, or watch some kind of PowerPoint presentation that also counts as continuing education for you guys as well. But if you guys don't know your protocols, you guys are a very dangerous EMT because your protocols are constantly changing. Okay. So please make sure that you guys are staying within your scope of practice. All right. Okay, so standards of care, right? How are these developed? How are these established? Who was telling you what you guys can and can't do? Well, who was telling you this are basically the docs. Okay, every year the docs have a powwow. It's called the Medical Control Board, and it's usually a representative from each hospital ER, along with most of the docs that are the medical directors for the service. And they all meet up and they kind of start talking about what's good, what's bad, what are changing in the field of medicine, and how do we want to implement that for EMS and or hospitals or nurses or whatever. Okay. And it's really kind of established by local customs, right? Continuing trends that we see in our local community, right? Here in New Mexico, we have a really big problem with illicit drugs, right? We have a huge problem with methamphetamine. We have a huge problem with heroin, right? We are seeing cocaine come back, okay? How are we going to tackle this with EMS? How are we going to tackle this with our nurses? What's going to be our standard operating procedures or our standard of care when we see these people, okay? They're basically imposed by the state, right? So all the medical directors kind of have to agree with this, right, in order to make sure that the whole state is on the same page. Okay, there's Medical Practices Acts. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. You guys won't see that on quizzes or exams. You guys will get that when you guys get into your services. But there's certifications, right? There's levels of licensure. This is all you guys right now. You guys are becoming a part of this as we speak. Okay, you can only do certain things as a basic. Okay, once you become an intermediate or what they call an advanced EMT nowadays, you can do everything a basic can plus this. Right? When you become a paramedic, you do everything a basic can, you do everything an advanced EMT can, and here we're going to give you all these other cool little toys and drugs that you can play with your patients, and that's your standard of care. Okay, certifications. Okay, I'm going to harp on you guys, right? That once you guys get your EMT basic, you're going to hear me say this 1,000 times this semester. Okay, don't stop there. Get your certs, right? Get your pre-hospital trauma life support. Keep your CPR up. Keep your BLS up. Try to go get ACLS certifications, advanced cardiac life support, pediatric advanced life support, right? Once you guys get into paramedicine, go get your flight paramedic certification. Go get your your TCCC, okay? Your trauma, combat, and casualty care, okay? Go get them, right? It's all certification. Most of these are pay raises, specifically in New Mexico. You get some pretty decent pay raises for certifications. We'll talk more about that specifically in class, okay? You have to maintain your licensure, okay? Nobody else is responsible for that but you. If you do not maintain your license, if you do not get the CEs that you need, your continuing education credits, you don't work. If you cannot renew your license, you do not work. It is that simple. Okay? This is on you. All right? You guys are getting into the field of medicine. Whether you guys are going to stay EMTs, whether you guys are going to go be paramedics, whether you guys are going to nursing or RT or surgeons, MDs, PAs, nurse practitioners, whatever the hell you guys want to do, you will never stop learning. Ever. You guys are going to be in school the rest of your life. Period. Okay? Things change. Things change in medicine all the time. Okay? Your statutes, right? These are the protocols. These are what you can and cannot do to your patients at your level of licensure. Okay? We have professional and institutional standards such as American Heart Association CPR guidelines, right? The American Heart Association Advanced Cardiac Life Support guidelines. ASHI, right? CPR guidelines. Some of our services are moving to ASHI instead of American Heart Association, okay? And all of our textbooks. This all comes down to the standard of care, okay? All comes down to the standard of care. And that includes the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration. Okay, they tell us how we can drive our ambulances. They can tell us what we can and can't do. They're the ones that say, hey, we could turn on these really cool flashy lights and, turn on our siren and run red lights, but we have to do it in a certain way. Okay. That's what your standard of care means. The things you can and can't do on an everyday basis while you are on duty. Okay, moving into duty to act. So what is a duty to act? This is where you have a legal obligation to respond for service when called, regardless of the nature of the call. Okay, you can't pick and choose your calls. Okay, you can't say, oh man, this is going to be the 4th overdose I ran today. I'm going to skip this one. Okay, you can't be like, oh, this is my 4th overdose of the day. And, oh, snap, somebody just got shot in the South Valley. I'm going to that instead. No, you are going to do what you're told. Period. Okay? You're going to go to the call that you're assigned. Period. All right? It could be your 19th intoxicated person. It doesn't matter. Okay? It could be your 7th inter-facility transfer of the day. It doesn't matter. You're going to it. Okay? You are on the clock. You are getting paid. You have a duty to act. Period. Okay? Duty to act applies to once your ambulance responds to a call. Okay? And you have a duty to act once you guys begin treatment. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that here in the next couple slides. So, who has a duty to act? Well, you have a duty to act if you are a paid provider, which means you are on duty, on shift. You have clocked in, okay? You are in uniform, and you are ready to rock. Tip-top, ready to pop. Okay? You have a duty to act. You must being the key word, you must respond to calls for service. Okay? If you are unavoidably detained, for example, if you are at the hospital and you have some, you're in the facilities, right? You're taking a poop and you can't respond to that call, you need to arrange, okay? You need to contact your dispatch center and say, hey, I'm going to need a minute, okay? So that they can get somebody else to go to that call for you, okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, don't make a habit out of that, okay? If you're a volunteer, if you are on a scheduled volunteer shift, now let me tell you something. I love my volunteers. Volunteers, if you guys are listening to this, I love you guys. You guys have the biggest hearts in the world. You guys are the true lifesavers because you guys decided to do this job for free. You volunteer your time to do this. Okay? That's, man, the true heroes are the volunteers. Okay? But if you are a volunteer on a scheduled shift, you have a duty to act when that call responds, when that call comes in. You have a duty to respond to that call. Okay? Here's the other one, specifically for New Mexico, and I think there's probably other places as well, but in New Mexico for sure. And this has turned around and bit a couple people on the ass in the past, is if you are in uniform, okay, this means you get off shift, you decide to stop at, Walmart or the Piggly Wiggly on the way home, and you are in uniform, okay, you could be seen as on duty. And you will have a legal duty to act. I'm going to take this one step further. Okay? For all you guys and gals out there that are ready to join the fire department. I have a lot of friends in the fire department. I love my firefighters. Okay? But damn, do they love to advertise that they are in the fire department. Right? They have the fire department stickers on the back of their lifted trucks. Right? They have every single piece of firefighting clothing. They got the beanies, the Oakley, customized sunglasses with firefighter on them, or the flag with the red stripe on it, or they have the sweatshirts and shirts and T-tops and tank tops and underwear and shorts and socks and flip-flops. I mean, they will tell you they're a firefighter from a mile away. Okay? They love telling you they're a firefighter. Okay? Here's the thing in New Mexico. I want you guys to pay attention to this. Okay? If you are wearing your duty shirt, if you have anything on you that says Albuquerque Fire Rescue, and you go to the store, and you're walking through Walmart, and you see an old man collapse, okay? You have a duty to act because you are wearing that shirt. Okay? If you walk past that or you try to avoid that call because you're off duty and you're only there to get some hot dogs and some hot dog buns, right? Because all you want to do is go home and barbecue and have a couple beers, right? And somebody sees you in that shirt as you're walking away, oh my God. The media is going to have a field day with that. Okay? Here's the other thing. Specifically for you dudes out there. Okay? This one's for the guys out there. You guys that like to have your girlfriends wear your service shirts. Okay? Specifically, this is big for firemen. All right? Your girlfriend has all the matching clothes that you do. All right? Or girls, your boyfriend has all the matching clothes that you do, however you guys want to see it. Okay? If your lady is wearing that shirt, she has a duty to act. And she's not even licensed. Okay? So here's the moral of the story. Okay? From here on out, for the rest of your EMS careers, always, please, take a spare set of clothes with you to work. So that way, when you guys have a real kick-ass shift, right, and you guys are all pumped off after shift, maybe you guys ran that really cool call, right, and there was multiple EMS agencies involved, yeah, bro hugs and all this stuff, right, you guys can go out, change your shirts, and maybe go out and have a beer or a bite to eat with your buddies after work, okay? And you don't have to worry about going home first and getting your uniform off, right? You can change right there at work, okay? This also is true with you guys in class right now in your C&M basic blue shirts. Okay? You guys will be seen as on duty. Okay? You guys walk up to Smith's up the street to get something to eat and somebody collapses. You guys better know how to call 911. Because you guys will be seen as on duty. Okay? We're going to talk about that more first day of lab. All right? But you guys will be seen as on duty. Please be very careful. Very careful what you guys go out in. Okay? Here's the other thing. You guys have seen people driving around town, I'm sure of it, with the EMS license plates or the retired firefighter license plates or just the regular old firefighter license plates. The state was trying to get us to have to respond to car accidents if we had those plates, and we really shut that down real quick. Okay? So those license plates are okay. You do not have a duty to act. Okay? I have one of those license plates. Okay? I probably shouldn't. Right? But I'll tell you one thing, it's gotten me out of a ton of speeding tickets. Okay? So think about what you do before you do it. Okay? You guys are the EMS professionals. You guys wear your own damn clothes. Okay? Don't give your shirt to your ladies. Ladies, don't give your shirts to your guys. Okay? Or whoever, right? Don't give your shirts to your significant others. Period. They might be seen as having a duty to act. Okay? And then off duty. Okay? When you are off duty, guys, you have no duty to act in the state of New Mexico. Okay? Just because you are a licensed EMT does not mean as you're driving down San Mateo, approaching Lomas, and you see a car accident, you have to stop. No. You are off duty. You are not in uniform. You do not have to stop. Okay? Now, if you do decide to stop, you are setting yourself up for all kinds of liability. Because let me tell you something about EMS. Okay? And I'm sure that there's people going to be listening to this from other parts of the world, because this is all over YouTube, right? But this is my opinion. Okay? I've been doing this a long time. All right? EMS are like mechanics, like car mechanics. We are pretty much worthless without our equipment. Okay? We are just like mechanics. We are worthless without our equipment. Okay? And this might sound even more cold hearted, but I'm going to say it anyways. You know what? You are busting your ass trying to get your EMT basic. I busted my ass getting my medic. I get paid for my skills. Period. Okay? You guys do not have to stop. Okay? Now, that being said, I'm not going to sit there in Red Lobster while some kid is choking on a shrimp. I'm going to jump in. Okay? But that's going to be me because it's going to help me sleep at night. Okay? I'm not going to sit there and not help somebody that has collapsed. But that's me. There's other medics out there. There's other EMTs out there that said they won't do anything, and that's okay because they are off duty. Okay? Please be very careful what you guys are doing. Please be very careful what you guys are wearing when you're out in public. Okay? It might be seen as a duty to act. Okay? Please, please, please be very careful. Okay, so luckily, there are some laws in place for us, whether we have a duty to act or not. Okay, whether we are being stupid and we're walking around a store with our service shirt on, or something that's advertising where we work at. Okay, this could even go with just those little Star of Life shirts, guys. It's coming to that point, so please don't advertise yourself. Okay? If you do not have a legal duty to act and you decide to act anyways, you are covered under the Good Samaritan law. Okay? Now, that still means that you can only, even though you are not on duty, even though you volunteer to stop and utilize your services, okay, you still have to work within your protocols inside your level of licensure. Okay? I'm going to tell you guys right now, guys, okay, I know this sounds cold-hearted. Please be very careful what you guys stop to. All right? Lawyers are having field days with this. Okay? Oh, well, you decided to stop at this accident, and you thought that this was best for you. Weren't even on duty. You were licensed basic, but you decided to do this, that, and the other, and it caused harm to your patient. Okay? Even though it is the Good Samaritan law, you are still a licensed medical professional who decided to stop off duty. You have no clue the situation you are about to walk into. Do you understand me? Please be careful, guys. Okay? You cannot ask for money. Oh, I love that. You cannot ask for a tip. Right? You can't say, hey, dude, I just saved your life. Give me a 20. Hook it up. Right? Don't work like that. You can't stop at that accident and say, hey, man, I'm an off-duty EMT. I can help you out for $50. No. Okay? That is illegal. Okay? You can't even do that on duty. All right? This job would be a lot cooler if I could get 10% of the medical bills from our patients that I run. It's not going to happen. Okay? Don't be expecting a tip. You know what? Don't be expecting a thank you. Right? This is your job. You are signing up for this. Okay? It's just like with all these we're in the age of COVID-19 now. Ooh, spooky, right? And I love driving past all these places where it says they have these huge signs out there that says heroes work here. No. We are not heroes. We signed up for this. Okay? The heroes are the ones that are volunteering. We signed up for this. We have received training to take care of this situation. Okay? I remember talking to old school medics about when HIV came out and AIDS, and everyone was scared shitless out of their minds. Right? They didn't want to respond to these houses because nobody knew what the hell was going on with this disease. But you know what? They still responded. Okay? That does not make them heroes. They signed up for this. This was their choice. They're getting paid to do so. Okay? Sorry to take some of the lackluster away from EMS, but this is the truth, guys. Okay? The Good Samaritan law also comes in as long as you are working in what you consider to be in the best interest of the patient. Okay? If we are on duty and we do have a legal duty to act, now we're under our standard of care. Okay? This is basically what your medical director has provided for you, your protocols, your standard operation guidelines, your standard operating procedures, whatever you want to call them. This is your standard of care. Basically, what's going to happen with this, okay, is let's say you go to court over something. Let's say you are on duty and something bad happens to your patient, okay, and you are blamed for that. Okay, they're going to bring in that quote-unquote expert witness. That expert witness is somebody at your same level of licensure. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, they pay very well for expert witnesses. Once you guys get some, experience behind you, sign up to be an expert witness. Okay, and they're gonna sit you down as that expert witness, and they're going to say one thing. They're going to ask you one question: would you have done the same thing for your patient as this gentleman or this lady did at your level of licensure? If the answer is yes, they walk. If the answer is no, they go to jail. Said and done. My hands are clean. We'll see you guys later. Okay? A reasonable and prudent professional with a similar level of training in a similar situation. Would you have done what this person did in this situation? Easy. Okay? That's how they find out if you have broken your standard of care. One question: would you have done what they did? Okay?